Let's be honest. This last summer movie season has been kind of dismal. Luckily, the last 4 months of the year are almost upon us. The best stuff comes out then, and Entertainment Weekly just put out its fall movie preview, which covers all the movies that are going to be coming out in theaters between September and the end of December. Harry Potter? I thought we were done with that 5 years ago. Great. I don't hate Harry Potter. I read all the books. I found them really enjoyable. The last one's maybe a little too reliant on coincidence. And I saw all the movies in the theater, and some of them I thought were really good. Azkaban and Goblet of Fire. No, sorry. Azkaban and Order of the Phoenix. Yeah, those two are my favorites. Get them confused sometimes. I'm not a die-hard Harry Potter fan by any means, but there's so much hype around those movies. And it kind of annoyed me, because there was this one time when one of the Harry Potter movies, I believe it was Half-Blood Prince, was scheduled to come out around Christmas, and then they decided to push it back to the following summer. And this magazine had an article highlighting that in both their fall movie preview issue, or their holiday movie preview issue, and then the following summer. And it was the exact same article. I'm like, there are other movies out there that deserve to be on the cover other than Harry Potter and Twilight, because anytime a new Twilight movie came out, they had that on the cover as well. Anyway, despite their particular interest in those kinds of movies and the work of J.K. Rowling and the cinematic adaptations of the same, I really enjoy this issue quite a lot every year. It's my favorite issue that they put out. It just came out a couple weeks ago, and I've had a chance to go through it and spotlight a ton of movies. I mean a ton of movies that are coming out that I'm very interested in. Some of these might end up getting delayed until next year. That's usually how it works. And some of them won't come out until like the very last minute, so they can qualify for awards, and then they'll have their general release in the rest of the country in January. But right now, here's what we're looking at. I've got my top 10 and a bunch of other honorable mentions, which I'd like to talk about, and hopefully this won't be as long as my July update on what I've seen, because that was half an hour long, and it was devoted to just 1 month. So, the 10 movies I'm most looking forward to starts off with The Birth of a Nation. For a long time, The Birth of a Nation was a film that was groundbreaking in terms of silent cinema. I believe it was first released in 1918. Unfortunately, it's also about the heroism of the Ku Klux Klan. Well, right now, somebody decided, hey, I'm taking that title back. Nate Parker is an actor and director, and he is playing the lead and directing this film. And it's about slaves on a plantation, and their preacher, basically, who is basically goaded into keeping the slaves in line by the white masters, and after a while he's like, screw that noise, you know, let's get a revolution going, let's get a revolt going. So Nate Parker plays that part. Some of the other people in the movie include Gabrielle Union, Armie Hammer, Jackie Earle Haley, Penelope Ann Miller. Those are the people that I'm familiar with. It's scheduled to come out right now on October 7th. Next we have The Accountant. The Accountant is a really cool looking thriller directed by Gavin O'Connor, who did Jane Got a Gun, with Natalie Portman, a movie which I liked a lot more than I thought I would. And he's done some other good stuff as well, although I'm not really familiar with a lot of his movies. I've only seen a couple of them. Anyway, this movie looks really cool. Ben Affleck is a high-functioning autistic man who's incredible with math, and he ends up basically working for criminal organizations, and there's a lot of really shady business going on. The feds, I think, are led by J.K. Simmons. I almost said J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is a fed trying to bring down Ben Affleck. No. So yeah, he works in these criminal organizations, and he's just super skilled with numbers. So he's sort of the key to a lot of criminal businesses. Anna Kendrick is in the movie along with John Lithgow, Jeffrey Tambor. That's coming out on October 14th. Looks really cool. Added to the list of movies like American Pie and American Virgin and American Beauty and American whatever the hell, we've got American Pastoral. I had one other American movie and title in mind, but I forgot what it is now. American Pastoral. This is based on a novel, I think, although I forget exactly who did it. It's set in the 1960s. Ewan McGregor and Jennifer Connelly are a couple who discovered that their daughter is part of an underground revolutionary group. They bombed a building, so that's a bit of a struggle for them to have to deal with. And this is for Ewan McGregor's first film as a director, so that's very exciting. Next, of course, we've got a big Marvel movie which looks really cool. Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, of course, has Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange, who is a doctor, a very skilled doctor. He gets in a car accident, his hands get all messed up, he can't operate anymore, he can't practice medicine, so he tries the mystical arts. He tries to, comes across Tilda Swinton and her whole posse of mystic magic makers and learns how to bend reality and things like that. The director of this movie is Scott Derrickson, who did, I believe, some sort of supernatural movie. I forget the name of it exactly. It's not The Haunting of Molly Hartley. It's like The Possession of Somebody or something like that. Anyway, he also did the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, which isn't points in his favor. But perhaps he can be well utilized by the Marvel producers and writers into doing something really cool. I mean, I like what I see so far as far as the trailer goes. And I'm, a big fan of the Marvel movies, so I'm going to see this no matter what. But, yeah, could have some really cool stuff in it. We shall see. Taking its title from a movie that came out 20 years ago with Charlie Sheen and Terry Polo fighting off alien invaders, The Arrival. We've got Arrival, which is actually based on a short story called Story of Your Life by a guy named Ted Chiang. I've got my little notes over here. Excuse me for looking off camera for a moment. Basically, this is about first contact with an alien species. A whole bunch of ships come down, and the government recruits a linguist, played by Amy Adams, to try and open up a dialogue with them to find out what it is that they want exactly. The director of this movie is Denis Villeneuve, who did Prisoners and Sicario, two totally awesome movies that I loved. So this is going to be great. They've got a couple trailers out for it already. Looks really, really cool. We've got Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker, and Michael Stuhlbarg from A Serious Man and Steve Jobs in the movie. That one's coming out on November 11th. Oh, by the way, if I didn't mention already, American Pastoral is the 21st of October, and Doctor Strange is November 4th. I'm kind of showing these by release date for a change. Next movie. This is a movie that I didn't even realize existed until it appeared in the magazine. Manchester by the Sea. Kenneth Lonergan is the director of You Can Count on Me with Mark Ruffalo and Laura Linney. He also did a film called Margaret, which was my pick for the best movie of 2012, despite the fact that it had been made in 2006. It had been delayed for a really long time, but the 3-hour director's cut of that movie is a fantastic film. And his new movie is called Manchester by the Sea, and it stars people like Casey Affleck, Michelle Williams, Kyle Chandler. Casey Affleck's the main character. There's some sort of tragedy, so he has to come home and deal with his ex-wife and other members of his family. I don't really know a lot about the story. I don't really want to know too much about it. I'd prefer to go in, more or less cold because of the talent involved here. I'm sure they're, got something really special in store there. Next, we have Nocturnal Animals, which is from Tom Ford, the director of the Colin Firth drama A Single Man with Julianne Moore, one of my favorite movies of 2009. This is sort of a story within a story. The main character is Amy Adams, again, Amy Adams, who is an art dealer, and she sent a manuscript for a novel by her ex-husband, I think. And so we see dramatized the story with people like Jake Gyllenhaal and Aaron Taylor Johnson playing characters in the story that she's reading. Armie Hammer's in the movie as well. Michael Shannon. Kim Basinger is also in it. Yeah. Another movie that I don't know a whole lot about, but it sounds really intriguing. So, based on those people and people's involvement, I'm very excited to see it. We have La La Land, which is from the director of Whiplash, Damien Chazelle. It's a musical. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone are the main characters. We've also got Rosemary DeWitt and John Legend and J.K. Simmons, another J.K. Simmons appearance. Don't know a lot about the story except that it's a musical and it's set in Los Angeles. Aside from that, who knows? But it could be really cool, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of Whiplash, but I certainly recognized the skill of the director in that movie. Really, really exciting cinematic movie. And plus J.K. Simmons, oh my gosh, he's so amazing in that movie. So intimidating right from the first scene. He probably won't be playing the same kind of character in this movie, which is too bad. But, you know, hey, there's probably lots of other attributes. So, we've got Rogue One. Have I got that right? Yes, Rogue One. Rogue One is the latest in the Disney reinvigoration of Star Wars. You already know what this is about, I'm sure. You already know that Darth Vader is in it. You already know that James Earl Jones has returned to do the voice of Darth Vader. What else do you need to know other than the fact that, you know, there's TIE fighters and AT-ATs and Star Destroyers and all that good stuff? Doesn't seem like there's a lot of Jedi in this movie, if any at all, unless you count Vader as a Jedi. Yeah, you've got, you know, pretty great cast in it. Felicity Jones is the main character. She's recruited by the rebels to lead the team to steal the Death Star plans and get them back to the rebellion so that Princess Leia can feed them into R2-D2. Because R2's hungry. He's been waiting for those plans for ages now. He wants the Death Star plans. He's starving. Forrest Whitaker, of course, is in the movie. Mads Mikkelsen is in it. Ben Mendelsohn plays an Imperial officer. Alan Tudyk once again plays a robot, same as he did in iRobot. Diego Luna and Benicio del Toro also in it. It's directed by Gareth Edwards, who did the 2014 version of Godzilla with Aaron Taylor Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen. That movie was okay, not great, but I certainly appreciated the effect sequences. So yeah, you know, that on a technical level, the movie will certainly be in good hands. So here's hoping that'll be a really exciting, fun movie. Any bets on whether it'll be better than The Force Awakens? Probably won't make as much money, but I don't know what people are worried about. I mean, I'm sure that movie is going to be a massive, massive hit. And finally, rounding out my top 10 of movies I'm most looking forward to seeing between now and the end of the year, Passengers. Passengers was on my list of top 10 movies I want to see this year, right underneath The Nice Guys. Passengers is a science fiction movie in which the two main characters are Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, and they are on a ship that is making a long, 120-year journey from one planet to the other. They are supposed to be asleep the entire time, but they're not. They got woken up, and for some reason they're not able to go back to sleep again. So they're faced with spending basically the rest of their lives on the ship by themselves, aside from the robot companion who's played by Michael Sheen. And Lawrence Fishburne's in the movie as well. Kind of a small cast, really. The article in the magazine was talking about just how tiring it got, just to basically have nothing to do but scenes with each other for months and months. Big science fiction movie. The director is Morton Tildum, who did The Imitation Game, which I thought was really good. I have decided that this movie is one that I will not watch any clips of until I go to the theater to see it. The trailer's going to come out online. It's going to be playing in a bunch of theaters prior to the release. I'm going to do everything possible not to watch anything on it or learn anything more about this movie other than what I already know. The reason for that is I have read and heard many people praise the script and saying, oh my goodness, it's so great. And I'm like, okay, great. I don't want any story points spoiled for me, okay? I don't want to see a 3-minute trailer that explains, 3/4 of the movie and leaves just basically the end of mystery. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I know that, in order to keep myself in the dark, I'm going to have to at least watch like the first 10 seconds of the trailer online so that when I go to a theater to see another movie and the trailer starts, I'll know to cover my eyes and try and block out the dialogue so I don't know too much about that movie. So that's going to be tough. I mean, there are plenty of other movies that, I'm looking forward to, and I have no bones at all about watching trailers. Not clips, though. I'm not really big on watching the clips, the individual scenes, which are 30-second snippets from the movie, because those really aren't meant to be shown out of context. It's another marketing tool, but I prefer the trailer because it's meant to be watched on its own, whereas a scene plucked out of the movie isn't. Anyway, I am going to be avoiding the trailers in this case, and hopefully that will prove to be beneficial, because in the past when I've done that, it's paid dividends on movies like Before Sunset and $1 Million Baby and what have you. So I decided at the last minute to actually cut off the rest of the video, because there's just so many more movies that I wanted to see, and I just rambled on for like another 20 minutes. And I don't want to waste your time. Those 10 movies are the ones I'm looking forward to seeing most. Yeah, and if you want to tell me what you're excited to see, and if you're going to be skipping the trailers for any of those movies like I am with Passengers, I'm curious to know about that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.